My beautiful candle is getting low. Well, to be honest, it's about to run out, and I'm gonna let it finish. It looks like there's about like half a centimetre left, but there isn't. It's just that the heat hasn't reached this part. But yeah, it smells absolutely gorgeous. I do have a full one in my office / dumping ground, and I didn't buy one in the restock, but it would appear I bought practically every other candle going. I even went back on and placed a second order. RIP bank account. I've spent well over £100 on candles. I'm not going to say this evening because it's literally 2 in the morning, well, just after. And I bought just under £150 worth of candles from the best candle brand ever. Highly recommend these. No other small business has ever come close to these. Yeah, I always planned to spend 70 to 80, and then there was 10% off, and then I was like, oh, I want 2 of such and such candle, cinnamon swirl, large. Went back on, the large had sold out, and like it was only 5 minutes later, but I knew it would because when I was checking out the first time, cinnamon swirl and I can't remember which one. It was one of the new ones. It said low stock when I was on the checkout page, so I couldn't get a second cinnamon swirl in large, but I did get it in medium. And before the restock, like an hour before, I came upstairs to find my cinnamon swirl candle that I already own. Can't find it. I was on my hands and knees on the floor, and there's not much room to get down on the floor. I'm gonna look for it tomorrow. It might have gone behind something. Anyway, I really shouldn't be filming because I need to edit as much stuff as I can. I've got a lot of editing to do, which I think I've got other content videos to edit. I think I'm going to spend the majority of this week editing, whether it be other content and vlog style stuff, because I want to get off here what's on here, all the stuff I've been filming lately. But can you hear the clock? Can you actually hear that? Also, I need to start using wax melts a lot more during the day because I've got an absolute ton of them and I don't want any to go to waste. So I need to start just using them all the time. I need to bring some tea lights up here because I've run out. I feel like when I wake up in the morning, because sometimes it takes me a couple of hours to go downstairs. Even if it only takes me an hour or half an hour, when I wake up I should put a wax melt on, get the good day going. And then when I go down, put a wax melt on and stuff. I need to get through loads of wax melts. So I've been, it's like 2:05, you see that? Been upstairs since 11? Half 11? Maybe half 11. It's before 12. So basically, obviously, I'm being stalked on here and it is stressing me out and it's affecting my mental health. And it's the same people that have lied about me and bullied me and got other people watching me and stalking me online. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just really, it's nasty and vindictive and really pathetic, to be honest. And the people that are watching me on people's behalf are just as nasty. And also, is there nothing like going on in your life and that you feel the need to harass someone online and watch everything they say and go, oh God, she's definitely talking about such and such. This is what I had last year when, even before everything blew up, I'd go online and talk about someone, and I could be saying something nice, or I could be like, oh God, like I'm really stressed out about such and such. No matter what I said, good or bad, this person thought it was about them. I mean, the word narcissist was said to me when I was like, they're saying everything's about them. And, you know, whatever you want to think. But if someone's talking about something or someone, and someone thinks it's constantly about them, even though what they're saying couldn't even possibly be about them, then yeah, they are narcissists. My world doesn't revolve around that person, although that person's doing the best to cause me as much mental distress as possible and try and get me in trouble for actually doing nothing other than talking about the truth. I mean, I know they don't really know how to tell the truth, and it would appear a lot of people don't know how to tell the truth, but is your life so shit that you have to just make someone's life hell, make them feel unsafe and threatened and scared of what you're going to do next, or what you've got your minions to do for you? Like, do you know what I mean? And those minions that are doing things like watching me and reporting back, oh, she said such and such, it definitely must be about you. Like, is your life so crap that you feel the need to bully me like that and come on and go, oh yeah, she's talking about you? I could be talking about any number of people, and if you choose to associate it to that person, that's your problem and that's your own imagination, to be honest. And, you combined with the others are making me unwell, so if you're happy doing that, then obviously you're not a very nice person, and maybe you need to get some help for your issues. So anyway, I was like, just before, well, a couple of minutes before I came on, I've been listening to music. I need a drink as well, so if you can hear me go when I'm talking, I'm really sorry. I know it's annoying, but I'm not going to get up and have a drink just yet. So I've been listening to quite a bit of music, and the funny thing is, do you know that song? And I'm not sure what it's called is it Ava Max? And it's all of the kings and all of the queens, and you know it goes all of the kings and all of the queens. Da-da-da-da. It's what's it called when they use a sample of a song? I think that's called. It's a sample of If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man by Bonnie Tyler. And when I heard the song by Ava Max, or whatever she's called, I was like, oh my god. And I was like, that reminds me of Bonnie Tyler. And then I went on and listened to it on repeat for days and downloaded it onto my phone and everything, because it's been such a long time since I've heard that song. And then it reminded me of an album that my mum used to play a lot when I was in the car with her. And I've not been in the car with my mum for years, but it was when I was about 13, 14. She used to play this album called Heaven and Hell, and it was Bonnie Tyler and Meatloaf. And apparently Meatloaf makes my mum drive faster. I'm not commenting on whether I think that's true or not, or whether or not it's true, because I've listened to Meatloaf when I'm driving. But I was like, when I got in the car the other day, I put on Heaven and Hell, the album, and I knew all the Meatloaf songs, and when some of the Bonnie Tyler songs came on, I was like, oh my god, I've not heard that in years. And I was like living my best life listening to Heaven and Hell. I think I only listened to one Meatloaf song, and I skipped all the rest and listened to Bonnie Tyler. Holding on for Heroes. There's some real good songs on there. It's only about 13 or 14 songs, and it's half Meatloaf and half Bonnie Tyler. And it's a genius album, but, you've got to have a really good taste in music to like the album. If you only like one type of music, you're not going to like it. I have such an eclectic taste. So I was listening to, when I put music on tonight, I basically went on YouTube and I typed in Heaven and Hell Meatloaf, and the album came up, and I played the songs, and there was like one in particular that I played. I didn't even play If You Was a Woman and I Was a Man, because I played it a lot a couple of weeks ago. Oh god, I can't even remember the song now. that I watched, because when I've never watched the video for this song. What was it? It might have been Have you ever seen The Rain? Whichever it was, it's the weirdest bloody video. Right, I think it's from the 80s, like with you on drugs in the 80s. Oh my god, there's this man in it, and he's wearing like a pair of Speedos, tiny pair of Speedos, but he waving a guitar around. I'm like, oh my god, like, who thought of that? It's like the most random video ever. Like, were they really drugged up in the 80s? Like, I don't even know. Seems like they had a bit of fun in the 80s. I mean, god. And then I accidentally put Bon Jovi on. I went onto iTunes. I was like, oh, I want to keep listening to music, because I had a coffee at 11 o'clock. Will I ever learn? So, put Bon Jovi on. And I was listening to some songs, and I was like, I was enjoying it, but I wasn't loving it. I'm loving it. And what came on? Something came on. I basically started, because I've got lots of Bon Jovi songs on my phone, and it played Damned. And I've talked about this album before. It's from the These Days album, and I'm like, I've said before, the best Bon Jovi album ever. If you only know Bon Jovi for the big hits like Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, you'll think of Bon Jovi as being those pop rock songs. These Days, is typical of what, like, the music that was around in the mid-90s, you know, rock music, like the grungy kind of rock. It's like that. It's not your poppy Bon Jovi rock that you're thinking of if you know Bon Jovi for the poppy songs and you're not a Bon Jovi fan. Because, like, when I talk about Bon Jovi, people go, oh, I love Bon Jovi, I love Living on a Prayer, and I'm like, well, what about the rest of the songs? And they're like, oh, I don't really know them. I'm like, oh, so you're not a fan? Oh, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm like, no, you're not a fan. If you only know 3 songs, you're not a fan. They've had hundreds of songs, hundreds and hundreds of songs. Like, you're not a fan. Go away. You can't be a fan just because you like Living on a Bloody Prayer. You like the song, you're not a fan of the band, because if you're a fan of the band, you'll know about These Days, the album. These Days, the song, is in my top 5 favourite songs, especially when Richie Sambora sings it live. And if you don't know who Richie Sambora is, it proves you're not a fan, because Richie Sambora is not only the co-writer of 90% of Bon Jovi songs. In fact, he always gets the leading credit because he's the main songwriter of the band. He was the original guitar player, and he left and broke my heart into a billion pieces. And they're not as good anymore. They're not as good live, because he used to add certain things to the songs that the new guitarist, who I don't like, doesn't add. He used to sing the higher harmony in the songs, and the guy who's replacing sings lower than him, so the band doesn't sound as good live. The shit, basically. Especially now John's losing his voice. And Richie Sambora's voice is a billion times better than John Bon Jovi. There you go. John Bon Jovi's so ignorant he probably won't even admit that's true. Anyway, the These Days album is brilliant. It's genius. It's my favourite album ever by Bon Jovi. And my second favourite is called Crush, and that came out in 2000. And during 2000, like, it was pop bands and girl bands and like Britney Spears. That's the sort of music that was around, and they came back with a proper rock album, not heavy rock. And again, you might know It's My Life, but that album's brilliant. And I remember listening to it for the first time, and I loved it. And it weren't the sort of music that I was listening to when I came across that album. And I have such an eclectic taste. Like, I like stuff from the 80s, 90s, like 2000s. I don't really listen to much of what's around now. Sometimes when I'm in my car I put the radio on, but most of the time I hear stuff that's around now from like being on TikTok or whatever. But you know, I've been to concerts and seen Neil Diamond, like, he's my dad's favourite, and Neil Diamond sounds good on tape, but on live, the songs totally sound different and they're better live. Like Billy Joel, his albums are brilliant, but live, it's astounding, like, astounding. The way it sounds live is a billion times better than on tape. He's not released an album in, was it like 96, 96 or something? But he doesn't need to, because the songs that he's got are so brilliant. And also, unlike Elton John, who releases 5,000 albums a year, Billy Joel doesn't feel the need to. And also, he knows that he's probably never going to write anything as good as he did 20 years ago. And that's why, probably one of the reasons why he doesn't put new material out, because it probably won't be as big as stuff that he did 20 years ago when he was at his top of his game. He's not stupid, unlike Elton, who just puts crap out all the time. Do you know what I like about Elton John? Is how honest he is, and the stories he tells about what's happened and how brutally honest he is. Like, I think it was around Christmas last time he did this interview, and he was in like his house in the south of France or wherever it was, and he told everyone that he wears wigs and he's completely bald. I nearly fell off the bloody sofa. I didn't watch all the interview. I think I catched the last 15-20 minutes. And I'm like, he's not bald. He's had a hair transplant, because I thought all these years his hair was a hair transplant. I didn't think that he was bald. But apparently he's completely bald. And I was like, he's not completely bald. Because obviously Elton lost his hair, but he used to wear like baseball caps, and then he had a hair transplant, and it was famously documented that he had this hair transplant. So when he was like, he was telling a story about how he was woken up in the night and he always keeps his wig by his bed, and he put it on back to front. But yeah, and he was like, yeah, I'm completely bald. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he's admitted that, because you wouldn't have thought he was bald, because everyone believed, he did have a hair transplant, but it went wrong. But I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's admitted that. And then I was trying to picture what he looks like bald, and I kept saying to my dad, I can't picture Elton John bald, because I can't. I like trying to think of him with like a skinhead, and I can't imagine it. So yeah, that's what I like about Elton. He's super, super open and honest about anything and everything. And that's the way to be, open and honest. And that's what I like about Elton. But I was listening to Bon Jovi, and as I said, the These Days album came on. And then I listened to quite a few songs. Like, there's this track called Hey God. It's like, hey God, tell me what the hell's going on. It seems like all the good shit's gone. It's getting harder holding on. Then Damned came on, and it reminded me of a time where, when I was 17, my mum's basically said to me, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And it reminded me of Bon Jovi because of the song. It's a really good song, actually. I think I was actually 18. And then I ended up listening to, what's the song? Have a Nice Day. I've talked about Have a Nice Day not too long ago. And it's like, when the world gets in my way, I say, have a nice day. And you know what he's getting at, don't you? Like, when someone's like annoying him, he wants to tell them to go away, but instead he's like, have a nice day. Do you know what I mean? And I was listening to the song, and it was the last song I listened to before I came on here, because I was like, I want to film, because I want to talk about something without actually talking about it. Yeah, so I'm mega good at doing that. And I was like, the song really inspired me, and it's hard to explain why or go into too much detail, because I don't really want to say too much. But it's singing like, when the world gets in my way, I say, have a nice day. when really he wants to say, like, go away, or F this, I've had enough, or F you, or whatever it is, he's like, have a nice day. And it kind of inspired me. And like, I mean, the song's like 3.5 minutes long, and within like a minute and a half, it like was starting to like, well, about 30 seconds into it, it was started to inspire me, and like before it was about 2 minutes through, like it totally inspired me and made me think of lots of things after 2 minutes of the song. And by the end of the song, I was like, yeah, right, yeah, that's what I need to do. It's amazing how songs can inspire us at the strangest times. Do you know what I mean? And inspire us in the strangest ways and give us the strangest thoughts and feelings. And it's weird, and like, I was like thinking of different things during the listening on the other songs that I've been listening to, the Bon Jovi ones. And then it all came to a head during Have a Nice Day. Listen to it, you'll like it if you like a more of a poppy rock. It's kind of like an easy listening poppy fun song. It's from an album of the same name called Have a Nice Day, and that used to be my least favourite album when I was like ranking my favourite Bon Jovi albums. At that point, Have a Nice Day was the worst album for me. But I appreciate it more now than I did then. Like, the stuff that, like, before Richie Sambora left, they came out with this album. What was it called? I obviously bought it. What was it called? It was really crap. It was a crap album. I remember because Richie Sambora wasn't happy with it. And it was one of the reasons he left as well, when he was saying that they were putting out music that he wasn't happy with. And he felt like music was being rushed out and it wasn't up to the standard that it should be. So that's true, because John Bon Jovi's still carrying it on with the crap music. Like, there's the odd good song, don't get me wrong, like they've just released an album which I didn't buy. Don't think I bought the last, yeah, I did buy the last album. And there's a few good songs. There's a song called Limitless, which is really inspiring. It's like, life is limitless, and it is, you can make what you want out of your life, it's limitless. And there's one called Love is a Drug on the album, and I've downloaded that. Gets a bit repetitive and annoys me after listening to it twice, though, the song. But yeah, Have a Nice Day has just really inspired me in a way, and also made me realise a couple of things. Thank you, John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, for writing that song. Because it's just made me realise a couple of things. So yeah, not going to tell you what. Come to your own conclusions, you do anyway. This is like, do you know what, it's sometimes really funny and also sometimes really insulting and stressful, some of the presumptions some of you lot come out with. Some of you just come up with nasty presumptions, but as I said in other videos, I know that's people who just go around being nasty to people online, and, you know, some of them are doing it because of the so-called online friends influencing them. But also it shows stuff about their true colours if they're doing that as well. And then some people just come out with, like, the most ridiculous presumptions. And yes, some of them do make me laugh because some of them are ridiculous. And as I always say, don't presume anything. Unless I come on and tell you something, don't presume you know anything about me unless I've actually shown it to you or told it you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you see me eating, I don't know, a salad, don't presume that I like every bit of salad there is, because I probably don't like every bit of salad that you can buy. It's like, if you see me eating some strawberries, don't presume I like every berry, because I don't. I hate raspberries. So just don't make presumptions based on what you see and hear. Unless someone's actually said something to you, don't presume things and don't read between the lines, because sometimes with reading between the lines, you're just going to come to some really far out conclusion that's not even near the truth. It's like, I've had people's opinions of why they think I'm not fully showing the entirety of myself on here. Like, you've seen as much as you normally see, but a lot of the time I'm just filming most of my face or part of my face because it's easier to hold the camera the way I've been holding it. And I've gotten out the habit of holding the camera because I've not been filming, so it actually hurts me to hold it up enough to get my entire face in. So that's one of the main reasons I'm doing that. It's not because I've had my lips done like someone thinks I have. I mean, thank you for your comment. It made me laugh because I wish I'd had my lips done. I need them. Like, I don't want bloody, like, those massive lips that take over your face. But I would like well, I don't even want my bottom lip doing, I want my top lip doing, but I'm not, like, in a hurry to get that done. I might get it done one day, but right now, I mean, it would mean leaving the house. And are they allowed to do that at the moment, like Botox and fillers? I don't even need Botox. Like, Botox has not even crossed my mind. There's people who get it like when they're like 20, and I'm like, why would you get it at 20? Because, and this is like for anyone really, you can only have so much Botox. So if you're getting a ton of Botox and you're 20 years old, when you're 40, you're not going to be able to get any more than what you're getting now, and you're going to look older, like a lot older than you would do normally. You're not going to be able to have extra to make you look younger. You're just going to be able to get the same amount that you're getting when you're 20. So you're going to, not be able to look much younger. But if you wait until you're in your 40s or 50s before you start messing with your face, at least then you can slowly work it up. So when you're in your 60s or 70s and you want a bit more, you can have a bit more because you're not having as much as you're allowed now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know someone who was getting loads of Botox, loads of fillers, and every time I saw them, they looked younger and younger and younger. The face was getting plumper and plumper. And actually, it was done in a really good way. Like, you couldn't tell unless you knew that person or saw them regularly, you wouldn't really know. Like, if you found out how old they were, you would guess that they'd had a little bit of Botox and a little bit of filler, but they'd had a lot. And it got to the point where I remember thinking, like, in 5-10 years' time, they're going to want more, but they're not going to be able to have more because of how much they're getting now. I mean, they probably could have had a lot more filler, but it got to the point where, if they had a lot more now, in 10 years' time, they wouldn't be able to have any more than what they're having now. And they let it all wear off, and then they got some put back in, but not to the extent they were having it before. And they did look absolutely amazing when they were having it done before. And the person who was doing it was an anaesthetist. Still works as an anaesthetist as well. And they did an absolutely amazing job. So I know if I do ever want something doing, that's where I'm going to go and get it done. Because I know exactly where they were getting it done. Because I was told. So when I want my lips done, that's where I'm going to go and get my lips done. But I mean, I don't need Botox. Like, I don't look in the mirror and go, oh my god, I need Botox. But there'd be people who were younger than me are like, oh god, I need Botox, I've got loads of wrinkles. And I'm thinking, well, if you've got wrinkles when you're like 20, like, you don't have wrinkles at 20, like, why would you? Like, all my life, I've had these two, like, creases under my eyes. I mean, I don't know what else to call them. And I've had them since birth. There's pictures of me as a baby, as a toddler, like when I'm 8, with these creases under my eyes. And everyone thinks they're wrinkles, but they're little creases. And I've always had them. So when I look in the mirror, I don't, like, hate them. Sometimes when I'm feeling a bit weird, I look at them and think, oh my god, I want to get rid of them. But I don't know how I would get rid of them. And I think I would look weird if I didn't have them, do you know what I mean? Because I've always had them. But I always think when I'm in my like late 30s or 40s or whatever, people are going to think they're wrinkles, and they're not. Because I can literally show you pictures of me as a child with these two lines under both eyes, and I don't know where I've got them. that's one place I don't want to age is under my eyes. Like, I don't mind if I get some wrinkles. Well, not that I'm asking for wrinkles. I mean, I'm just saying, if I did get wrinkles in certain places, it wouldn't bother me. It's under my eyes where I don't really want to age. Don't know what I'm telling the internet that. I think I've said it before, to be honest. But yeah, like, I don't look in the mirror and think, oh God, I'd love some filler, or some Botox. But I know if I had certain little things done, like, oh, do you know what? I don't want to get into it because I don't want to draw attention to. Well, do you know what? I don't look in the mirror and go, I want Botox or filler. But I know if you have like filler or Botox in certain places, you can have certain parts of your face lifted up. Do you know, like a non-surgical facelift, you can have things lifted up here and there. But the younger you start having stuff done like that, you know, the more you've got to have done at a younger age, and then when you get to a certain age, you can't have any more than what you're getting because you're already at the limit, yet you're still aging. So, if you're going to have some, I wouldn't recommend having anything done until you're in your 40s. Unless there are some people that look older when they're younger. There's people like in the early 30s that look like they're in the 40s. So if you like are that age and you do look like you're 10 years older, then I'd say yeah, if you want Botox, definitely get it then. But the longer you can hold off without it, the better. And also when you get it, I mean, don't get tons, because then people notice. If you get little bits and have little small things done, no one's going to go, oh God, you've got a face full of Botox. I mean, if I have had Botox, I would do it subtly. I mean, you see people who go and get Botox and it's like, oh my God, you've got tons. Like, my hairdresser used to get Botox, well, she probably still does, and you could tell it was really obvious. Because sometimes when people get Botox, they have these little bumps under the skins because it's not been spread out properly. There is probably a technical word. And you can see like little bumps under the skin where they've been injected, but it's not been, you know, moved around properly. I mean, I don't know what the technical words are. And I could always tell that she'd had Botox. And she had like a really smooth forehead. And that's always a massive giveaway if someone doesn't have normal movement. Like, you know, I was talking about the person who had quite a bit of it, fillers and Botox. I think they had more fillers than anything else. Their face was getting plumper and plumper all the time. They could still move their eyebrows. They could still show like loads of expressions. And they still had like certain lines when they did certain things. And that's why what they had done wasn't obvious and it looked good. And that's why I would 100% go to where they went, because it looked amazing when they had it all done. And they also had the lips done, but they had a little tiny amount in the lips. But I could tell they'd had the lips done. They never told me, but I could tell, because when they let it all wear off, the lips wore off. But they didn't, like, they only had a tiny bit in the lips, and that's all I want. It's a tiny bit, because I think if you start making it look like, you see people and they've got the lips done, it's like, oh my God, it's like, they're huge. It takes up all like the moustache area. They look really tight and uncomfortable, and they just look really wrong. I mean, if I ever had that done and my lips came out like that, you probably wouldn't see me on camera until it wore off. Can you imagine? I'd look hideous. All of a sudden I come on camera and I've got these huge lips. You'd definitely laugh at me. I mean, I'd laugh at myself really, wouldn't I? So yeah, going back to the song, it made me realise and think so much in such a short space of time. So thank you to Richie Sambora and John Bon Jovi. And, you know, I know they don't watch my channel. I'm so glad they don't watch my channel. They've been thinking I'm a complete freak. So yeah, a lot of Bon Jovi songs, well, they tell stories in a lot of the songs. Like there's this song called Dry County. I can't listen to it because sometimes it makes me a bit depressed, and it's not really a depressing song. Well, it's about death and like everyone's gonna die in the end. Well, the lyric is no one's gonna get out of here alive. No one's getting out of here alive. And I think it's about 9 minutes long. And the first time I heard it live, oh my god, it's brilliant. Love it. But I didn't want to listen to it because it's like one of those songs that can make you feel down. And that's from the These Days album. No, it's not. It's from the Keep the Faith album. There's a lot of stories in the songs, and there's a lot of inspirational things in the songs. And I'm getting tired and I'm hungry. Do I go and eat something at 23 in the morning? Look, I've got my headphones on my leg. Because I was listening to music through the headphones. Do you know what? These were like 20 quid. Absolute, or maybe 22. Or 19. I don't know. They're really good. But I don't like having them on my head. They're not super weighty, but you can obviously feel them. And I sometimes don't feel comfortable wearing them. I need to get some Apple earpods. That's what I want. Do you know what? I could have bought some instead of placing that Noah order, because it costs about the same. And they'll last longer than candles. Oh my god, I can't believe how much I bought. Like, I didn't even plan it. I'd basically planned to get 4 large candles. I think they're $18.99 each. And that's what the plan was. And I think I got 4. And then I was like, oh no, I want another cinnamon one. I should have got 2 cinnamon. I don't know why I didn't. So I went back on, and of course it was out of stock. And I was like, oh god, I don't know what I want. I ended up getting a large brief, because I went through nearly a full one. Not the week just gone, but the week before. I got the new wick trimmers, which are really pricey, because I got the exact same ones, but for $2.99, but they've been engraved with Noah on. But so I got them. I got a cinnamon candle in medium. This is the second order, by the way, that I placed. I got gingerbread in a large. And I've got something else. Who knows what else I got? All I remember is getting cinnamon. The one that I can't remember what it's called, but it's rosemary and bay. I got the pine and peppermint one. I don't even know what I got. Don't know what I got. I've got a bad feeling that I didn't